I'm being joined now by Kim Sengupta, who is the defense and diplomatic correspondent of The Independent. Kim, thanks for joining us on TLV1.
My pleasure.
I know you cover defense issues for many years for The Independent, and you've been here before at the Herzeliya conference. What's been said so far this year that you find interesting? Let's start particularly with the Iran issue.
Well, I mean, by coincidence, the last time I was here, Iran was very much in the forefront of the news. This was 2 years ago, when there was a genuine expectation by many that there would be military action over the nuclear program, and it was obviously, if you recall, something touch and go for a while, and then that particular issue died down a bit, dissipated, and now it seems to be surfacing again, especially with the talks which started in Geneva yesterday. So on Iran, it was interesting to hear the different views. Some appear to be quite gung-ho, saying that we are losing, or rather Israel and the West is losing the time gap to prevent weaponization, or Iran getting to a point where they can weaponize quite quickly. And then again, you hear others who want to give the sanctions more time, the diplomatic path more time. So, it was interesting to hear the differing perspectives.
Indeed. Now, the IDF Chief of Staff also made an interesting statement yesterday about Hezbollah. What did you make of that in particular?
Well, I can understand that Hezbollah is a source of worry to Israel. I thought General Gantz saying that they have got more firepower than US, France, Russia, and Israel was probably taking it a bit far. I mean, even if he meant on a regional context, I think the militaries of Turkey and Egypt might take issue being told that they are not as powerful as Hezbollah. But of course, you have got a stockpile of missiles by Hezbollah. How much of that is a current threat? We are told it's not an existential threat, but how much a current threat, we don't know. But it's obviously an enemy that the Israelis want to project, and something that they will have to face. But going back to General Gantz, I thought claiming that Hezbollah is more powerful than most countries' military was probably taking it a bit too far.
A little bit of an overstatement. Just a last question. It's interesting, the Herzliya conference, in a way, different policymakers and politicians and army officials really put their policy and their stances sort of out there in the public eye in a very interesting way. And for you, as someone who's covered the Middle East and Africa, Central Asia for a long time, is it unusual in some ways that, Israel kind of showing its cards in terms of what its latest thinking is on defense issues, or on the other hand, maybe there's a bit of a posturing that goes on here, that there's maybe some gap between what's said and what's said behind closed doors?
I think a bit of both. I think there's certainly the party line being propagated, but that's understandable. I think in this conference and a few others, but especially this one, I think it does give people in the military, for example, or the intelligence services, to put in the public sphere, what they want to put. You often get the impression that they have got views which differ from the politicians, and this conference it is an august conference, serious one, and they can float ideas here. So from their point of view, I think it's a good sounding board. They know it will be picked up by the international media. So if there is a message and they want to send, they can, and they do.
Kim, it's really been interesting speaking to you. Kim Sengupta from The Independent. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good to see you again.
Thanks. Good to see you.